Get fast, reliable internet for any budget. Now qualifying customers can get Xfinity Internet free through the Affordable Connectivity Program. That's right, free high-speed internet from Xfinity. And Internet Essentials customers can get equipment included at no extra cost. Get started today.
Moms and dads, listen. You're not the problem, but you are part of the solution. And this podcast is here to help you reach with your troubled child. Known as the teen whisperer, Jason Clopton counsels young adults and has a proven track record of reaching kids when parents can't. Listen and take notes. This show will help you figure out what's bugging your baby and build a bridge to a better relationship with your kids.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of the Teen Whisperer podcast. I am the fill-in host, Brandon Jones, filling in for brother Jason Clopton. Man, we're going to have another good episode, but we're going to talk about something that is very important to all of us, which is young people and their mental health. Recent studies have shown that mental health is rising across the country. Every state has seen an increase in mental health amongst young people, and that increase is being indicated by trips to emergency rooms, requests for therapy appointments, attempted suicides, unfortunately, and just reports of parents, caregivers, and teachers reporting mental health challenges to folks who can assist with those types of services. So we know that mental health has increased. In October of 2021, the American Psychological Association and a bunch of other national associations that deal with mental health declared youth mental health as a state of emergency. And this came due to the demands of the pandemic and just, again, all the things that we have seen. And I want to talk about that. What is going on? You know, you watch the news, you start to see younger and younger kids getting involved in some of the most violent acts, carjackings, stabbings, shootings, theft, all these different things, stealing from stores, fights in schools, school shootings, all these things are happening. And you probably are thinking like Marvin Gaye was thinking over 40 years ago, what is going on? And what's going on is several different things. There's not one particular answer. There's several things happening in society today. And those several things include stress from the pandemic. It includes a level of hopelessness for some youth. It includes lack of authority and guidance. And what we mean by that, it could be parents, it could be other community members, it can even be teachers and spiritual leaders, folks that typically used to be there in community and assist that aren't necessarily there at this moment. It could be a lot of different things. It also is the heightened awareness of mental health. I talked about this on a previous episode of this podcast, is that mental health awareness has increased, which is a good thing. But also with that increase of information, that increase of awareness comes an increase of curiosity in what is going on and a report out that, hey, I'm having these feelings too. I'm dealing with these things. I need help. So we're seeing the numbers increase, and it's put a lot of folks in a space of trying to figure out what can we do. Now, if you're a young person, this is an opportunity for you to do a self-check, to really think about where you are and where you are today and how you're actually feeling, and be honest about it. A lot of times, a lot of young people, they push things off. I think adults do it too. Let's just not put all the pressure on young people. But a lot of young people, they'll say, you know what? I'm just feeling down right now. It's not really a big deal. Nobody should really care. They'll say these things to minimize their experience. And when you do that, or when you hear your friends do that, what ends up happening is you're not keeping it 100 with yourself. You're not keeping it as real with yourself as you should, because we know one of the number one factors to make sure that you get the help that you need is you have to be honest about what's going on. It's one of the keys to why therapy works, is honesty. As a therapist, as someone who's seen so many different people over my career, one thing that I've noticed is my clients that were real with themselves when they came to that place of acceptance of what was really going on in their life, or what has taken place in their life at some point in time, they've noticed an increase in how their well-being has happened, how their healing journey has taken place. They were able to move forward without a lot of issues and concerns. So that's my hope for you as well, that you can do that, but you have to be honest about it. it is a very tough thing to do, to be honest about where your mental health is. That comes with a lot of stress, comes with a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, people judging you, labeling you, naming you things that you may not necessarily be, calling you things that they might not even understand 100%. But don't let that discourage you from getting the help that you need. And I see so many young people that keep things to themselves, or they may tell a really, really close friend, but they might not tell them everything. They rarely tell their parents or their caregivers, but you should say something. If you have something going on, don't be afraid to share it with those folks who can assist you. Friends can assist you. Um, Neighbors can assist you, coaches can assist you, teachers can assist you, people can help, but you have to step in and say something and be honest about what is actually going on. Now, that shame piece that I was talking about is one of the keys that keeps people from doing that. Because what ends up happening is with mental health, and this has happened over time, is once you get a label, a diagnosis, it tends to put people tend to put people in boxes. Oh, that's the depressed kid, or that's the kid with bipolar disorder. Oh, that's that schizophrenic kid. That kid's a schizo, right? They'll do these things that they don't quite always know what that means because these things look different for different people, but once that gets out there, it can ruin people's reputations. It can change your status socially. Your clout might go down due to that, right? There's a lot of things that happen. So there is a lot of fear that comes in sharing what's going on. But again, you don't have to tell everybody what you're going through. Nobody has to know that you're seeing a therapist. Nobody has to know that you have a mental health diagnosis. These things don't have to come out. So it's important for you to identify how you go about sharing these things. You don't have to make any post on social media about what happened, right? You don't have to tell your friends why you have to leave, hanging out early because you have to be somewhere at 4 o'clock because you have a therapy appointment. That might not be any of their business. So you can keep some of that to yourself, but do know that those labels don't have to be put upon you as you're going through this experience and through this journey. Now, with this shame also comes shame of parents, right? So having your child labeled and what that may mean, right? People at the school may start thinking differently about your kid. Family, friends, and neighbors might not want to associate with you because you have a kid who's been suicidal. um you know um I've seen family members stop talking to folks because things have come out, various different traumas or experiences have come out that have impacted this young person's life, and now they feel like you're pointing them out or accusing them of something, so they don't associate with you. So it can be a big challenge with this increase of awareness of mental health and when people are coming out and sharing, and that's one of the things that's held it back for a lot of people. So as a parent, you have to go into this as well, thinking about how do you protect your child, right? How do you protect your baby given the fact that they may be going through a mental health challenge, or they've had a mental health experience and they need help with it? What's the family narrative around that? How do you explain that to people? And I think that this is an opportunity for the parents and caregivers and the young people involved in the family dynamic to talk about what this means within our family. How do we have this conversation? Now that this has taken place, how do we express this to other people? Who needs to know? Who doesn't need to know? Those are important family conversations and discussions that should take place in order for you to have a narrative that protects your family and protects how you all are seen out in community, out in spaces that are shared with other people. Now, another thing that I want to mention about this increase of mental health awareness is that it also can lead to false acceptance of mental health diagnosis. People doing self diagnosis, people Googling different symptoms and things, and they might not necessarily be true. And it also can lead to people utilizing this as a cry for help or as attention seeking, right? So I've seen this where young people say, I'm depressed, never seen a clinician, never got diagnosed. They just learned about depression on a movie or Netflix special or a series, or they may have come across some information or may have had a friend who had it and they said, I'm that too. And they just associate with it when it might not actually be true. And this is a very slippery slope as well, because you don't know if this person's being honest about it or not, or are they just utilizing this to get some attention? And then that's why it's important to always check in, ask questions to the young people, for parents and caregivers, or folks who work with young people. What's going on with you? What's happening? If it's a friend of yours, if you're like, I don't know if you're really depressed, like what's really happening? It's cool for you to ask those questions as well, but be careful because as a peer, as a young person who engages another young person and you're questioning, where this person may be, it might feel a little uncomfortable. You may lose that friendship. It may cause chaos or agitation in your life. So you might not want that. So if you ever run into that situation and you have an adult who you trust and you think this other person trusts or has a decent relationship with, there may be a time to bring that individual in to help and assist with the conversation, because that assistance with the conversation maybe that that can break the ice a little bit, and it doesn't bring that level of intensity in you. So you might not want that, but you do want to be an encouraging friend or boyfriend or girlfriend partner of an individual. You want to show up for them, but you might not want to question the validity of their mental health status. So I would lean on the adults to do that, because adults usually can take that pressure a little bit differently and they can assist a lot better. So it's important to watch out for that too, where people are taking this increase of awareness around mental health and utilizing it as something to, just get some attention or get some clout, just to get some people to pay attention to them. They want to feel like a victim, because what happens when people are victimized, they get attention, they get a support, they get help, typically. So people will utilize that. So we want to just be very, very careful if you ever run across that. All right, so we're getting close to wrapping up. And again, mental health awareness has increased, but I haven't really talked about what types of mental health diagnosis have increased over the last couple of years. So, according to several reports, and I'm just going to localize this to Minnesota, 14% of Minnesota kids between the age of 3 and 18 experienced or dealt with anxiety or depression in 2020. And that is an increase of 12.2% from 2016. So that's significant. I mean, we went from 2016, where about 12.2% of young people were reporting having anxiety or depressive symptoms to 14%. So that increase says a lot. It says that young people are going through something. Something is happening. And in last year, April of 2021, there was an article that went viral from the New York Times, and this article talked about this concept of languishing. And languishing is this feeling of stagnation, emptiness, feels like you're going through your days, just muddling through, like you're looking through a window and there's just nothing out there, right? There's just like this emptiness that's going on. And what this article highlighted and did was it labeled feelings that many adults went through, but also a lot of young people. But it gave a direction for what so many people were dealing with during the pandemic. When you've been cut off from places you like to go, you've been encouraged not to socialize with people. You can't go hang out, concerts and stores were closed, things that young people like to do and engage, movie theaters, gyms, these things are not available to you. It starts to impact your mental and emotional well-being. And that's exactly what happened to so many young people. And what ends up happening is that languishing feeling has carried on over this time. So knowing about languishing, knowing that mental health has been deemed a national state of emergency, a national crisis, it's important for parents to pay attention to what your children are saying, what they're doing. Also pay attention to what they're not saying and what they're not doing. And then for young people, do a self check. Check in with yourself. Understand what is happening to you in your body. What are you feeling? What are you not feeling? Do you not want to associate with people? What's really going on? And then also pay attention to your peers, right? Sometimes you'll start to notice these huge shifts and differences in your peers, and you're probably wondering, what the heck's going on? Like, is everything okay? And don't be afraid to just check in on them. But again, don't be if you end up questioning their mental health, it's probably not the best for you to do that. You might want to check in with an adult. So mental health awareness is on the increase. And people are doing things about it. So you should do something about your mental health. Don't just sit back and let your mental health control you. Always take action, be proactive, and control your mental and emotional health to the best of your ability. I'm going to wrap up there. My name is Brandon Jones. You can find me at www.jegna.org. That's jegna.org. Or you can find me on any social media platform by Brandon Jones. That's BYBRANDONJONES. And this has been another installment of the Teen Whisperer podcast. And parents, always remember, you might not be the cause of the problem, but you definitely can be a part of the solution. And we're out. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Teen Whisperer podcast with Jason Clopton, known to his clients as JC the Counselor. Check back every Tuesday for new episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts. Find out more and connect with Jason at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
At Hy-Vee, we take pride of being part of the communities we serve. In 2021, we donated more than 14 million meals, and this year, we're committed to doing even more. For over 90 years, we've been the place that people turn in time of need, and we take that very seriously. That's why we're loading our semis full of food this week and making deliveries across the Midwest to help families this Easter. To join our effort, simply donate when you're at the checkout. Together, we can make a big difference for those in need.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again?
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
Y'all know how important helping the community is to me, and let's be honest, our communities need us right now. All of us. People are always asking me, Shaletta, how can I make a difference? Well, I have the answer. Xcel Energy is putting on its annual day of service, and you can take part. It's happening Thursday, September 8th through Sunday, September 11th. There will be nearly 80 nonprofit projects where you can volunteer to pack meals for folks in need, put together school supply kits, and more. Join thousands of your neighbors along with Xcel Energy employees. You can even get your kids involved. It's a meaningful opportunity for your entire family to make a difference. To learn more about Xcel Energy's Day of Service project, go to their website at www.xcelenergy.com/DOS info. Do your part to give back to the places where we all live and work.